Hey guys,
Hi, welcome back to our channel.
test of home.
Yes, in today's video, we'll be talking about a very good question that's been around, and the question is why move back to Zimbabwe from South Africa? And we're here to tell you why.
Yes, exactly. So, if you live in the diaspora, the reasons why you went there and the reasons why you might be thinking about moving back. So, we'll just be discussing
Yeah,
some of the things that we experienced.
we experienced,
Yes.
yes, in particular.
Yes, yeah. So, this is our experience that we're sharing. It's not the same for everyone, but we just want to share from our side.
Yeah, no, that's true. So the first point is we are not in our country. So there's nothing that feels good as being home. Each time we go to Zimbabwe, we always feel so welcome. We feel at home. We are happier being in our land. There's this belongingness when we are in Zimbabwe other than when we are here in South Africa.
Yeah.
And not that it's a bad place. We've had good experiences and we have good friends, neighbors and so forth, but just the belongingness, sometimes you just feel like, oh, I miss my family. I think that's what I wanted to just elaborate there.
Yeah, that's true. So we have a lot of South African friends,
Yes.
and we have a lot of Zimbabwean friends as well here. And there's always that missing piece in you.
Yeah.
No matter what you do,
Yes.
you always know that you're not home. This isn't home.
Yes.
And the fact that you're in a foreign land, makes you miss home.
Now that's true, and also to our children, they're always asking, when are we gonna see grandma, or when are we gonna see our aunts or our cousins? They also feel that they have some family out there, but they don't see them all the time. So
Yes, yeah. So we do try from time to time,
Yes.
to visit home.
Yes.
And each time we go there,
Yes.
apparently they don't want to come back here.
No, they don't.
They know that they're home,
Yes.
and it's always a great experience for them.
Yes.
So I think that's the first point, that you don't always feel like you belong.
Yes.
You always feel alien.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do.
There's so many controversial things, that we might dig into, but I guess it's not today's topic.
Yeah. But I mean, to anyone who's out there, they do understand
If you know, you know.
what we are talking about.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the next point, the cost of living is no joke. The cost of living is now very high. When we arrived here in South Africa some 10-15 years back, the cost of living was manageable.
10 years ago.
Oh, it's 10 years. The cost of living was manageable. With the salary you would get, you were able to do a lot of things and you were able to save. But in today's economy, it's very, very hard to do so.
Yeah, that is true. So things have changed from since we came here, and I mean, like everywhere else,
yes,
around
it's
the
a
world,
global thing.
I mean,
Yes.
even back home,
Yes.
might even be worse.
Yes, no,
But we're
that's
just
true.
comparing to the before,
Yes.
and after.
And
This is more like the after.
Yes.
So we're comparing to when we moved to South Africa. Things were still manageable back then, but now, there's a lot of things which you then start to weigh. Is it better still
To be
being
here
here
than
than to be back
to
home?
back home. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. I had a point that I wanted to speak on. It
sure.
just
I went in your way.
no, not to worry, but I'll probably remember it. But yeah, basically is just, I wanted to say, no, the cost of living, I think it is a global thing. I think due to the COVID pandemic, and
Yes.
you know, the economies are still trying to recover. But at the same time, like you said, you start to realize that you are rather off back home.
Rather better off home.
You're better off
Yeah.
home, doing your projects, doing whatever you can, other than trying to make it work here.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So there's so many things, you know, with these building in Zimbabwe videos. There's a lot of things that you see.
Yes.
Of course, there's some things that you agree with, that you
Yes.
can resonate with.
Yes.
And then there's like everyone's plan is different, right?
Yes.
So it's not the same for everyone.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And yes, would I advise someone to go back, build in Zimbabwe?
Without
Absolutely.
a plan.
No.
Yeah, oh, yes.
I mean,
yes.
like, yeah, I would.
Absolutely,
I would
yes.
definitely do
Yes,
that.
yes.
But if you don't have a plan, I think just go back to the basics first, and
Yes.
and
yes.
you know, just think about it.
Yes.
Make a plan. If it's solid enough, then you
Make
can
the move.
think about moving back.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, don't just jump onto the bandwagon, because when you go there and you are on the ground,
Yes.
I mean, reality will start hitting.
It will start hitting. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. True.
Right. So I mean, moving on to that point. So, and this point is one of our best points when we talk about these things. Is why wait until you're old to live the dream life, or to live the life that you want, be it homesteading, be it moving back home. Why wait until you're 60, or I don't know, you're retired? Let's do it now. I mean, and enjoy it now whilst we can. And I think that's how we can enjoy it more, other than when you're not able.
Yeah, that is true.
Yes.
That is true. So this all boils down to retirement planning.
Yes.
Yeah, and by the way, we're not professionals in this area.
Yeah.
And please do not take our word for it.
Yes.
Seek the advice of a qualified financial advisor.
Yes.
But in our experience, retirement planning takes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you need to look at is whether or not you are going to be self-sustainable.
Yes, that's the most important thing. Yes, being sustainable.
Yeah.
You know, be it financial, be it anything else.
That is true.
Yes.
So just think about this for a second. You move back home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you've built your house there. You've got
a car.
You've got a car to move around.
Yeah.
Just a transportation thing, not something fancy.
What's next?
And you've said all these things on the ground.
Yes.
Then how are you gonna sustain your life?
Yes.
How are you gonna keep going?
Yes.
So if you were dependent on a salary, then
you have to have something
you have
that
to
will
have
supplement that salary to keep
Exactly.
you going. Yeah.
Keep going.
I mean, it could be projects, it could be working from home if you are fortunate enough, it could be setting up, I don't know, whatever business that you think. At least have 1 or 2 or 3 forms of income that will kind of sustain you whilst you go on your retirement or your homesteading journey back in Zimbabwe, or when you move back in Zimbabwe. Yes,
that is true. So when we watch these building in Zimbabwe, or couples living in the rural areas, we look at a couple of things when you're watching those videos. The first thing and most important thing is, how are they sustaining themselves? Okay, so I think we're living in a very good era where we have YouTube. So it's not much that you get from YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can not like fully rely on
YouTube.
having a YouTube channel, getting some money from it. But I think being in Zimbabwe and having a YouTube channel in that space gives you an edge.
Absolutely. If you are in Zimbabwe, I would rather say just take your phone, set up a YouTube channel, start recording. You do much better than when you try to do it elsewhere. It's something that we've noticed. Post anything in Zimbabwe about Zimbabwe, it's likely to succeed.
Yeah, mostly about in the rural areas or homesteading.
Homesteading,
because that's what most of the people in the diaspora like us, we are yearning for. Is it a word? Yeah, we're
yearning.
Wow. We are like we want to live that way. Like we're tired of the city.
Yeah,
we're so tired. Like this.
We're tired of the concrete jungle, of the city, of the lights, of the shopping malls. We just want to live through what you guys are living in your homesteads, in your rural setup. That's why if you set up any content like that, you are likely to make it. Yeah,
but the most important thing that we sort of want to go back home and experience is that independence of thinking. We want, like in a rural setup, you don't have a lot of things to worry about. Of course, you do have if you don't have any income coming in.
Yeah.
That's why you must have a plan.
Yes.
But not having to worry too much about how am I gonna pay the rents, how am I gonna, each time you step out of wherever you stay, that's money coming out.
Yeah, I mean, just going to the shops to get milk, eggs.
That's money.
You end up spending like 500 rand, 1,000 is gone. You'll be like, what?
Exactly.
How did that happen?
Yeah, but if you are like in a rural setup, either you're going to get something from the garden, or you're just tending to your animals, just the basic stuff. So we're trying to mimic that here in an urban setup, where we limit having to drive out. That's true. But you don't have a lot of choice sometimes, because you have to go to work. You have to do school runs and some errands when you're in a city. And I think I'm saying too much.
No, I think it's good to to keep the whole flow going. And I mean, still talking about that, I think we actually have stepped into our fourth point, which is financial independence. So it kind of goes back to trying to be financially independent as much as possible, making sure that you don't have to rely on paying or looking for money to do even basic things like having your breakfast. If you've got your own garden, you can come up with your sweet potatoes, your eggs, and you already have a healthy breakfast without paying much. And you can go on.
Also I think the most important thing is like sometimes when you go out there in the diaspora, life is very difficult in the diaspora, and it's not everyone who has made it. Okay, there's I think I would just say maybe 90% of people in the diaspora, they're really struggling. We are struggling.
Very true.
No. We're struggling.
And the birds. That's true. We are struggling. So I just want to give you this nice perspective. I mean, a lot of people in the diasporians, they've got this, especially maybe our age group who came a bit late. The older generations, they probably made it more than we did. So in our generation, we have people who actually managed to get a house, maybe a car, and these, mind you, they are financed by a bank. So let alone when you look at most of them, when you look at it now, even if you calculate after you've finished paying for that mortgage, you still have to continue paying rates. You still have to continue paying to the city, all these big bills.
We've got rates, we've got sewers that you need to pay,
and they do add up. So
Yeah.
you will never have a time where you'll be like, oh, I cannot stop working. I can just relax in my house and enjoy life. You still have to work to pay for those rents, for all those sewers, and they are very costly.
Yeah.
Electricity, water bills, they're still very costly. So you realize that you still have to work even when you take retirement. So yeah, that's just one thing that I thought I should also air out.
True. That is true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, being in the diaspora is not easy. Okay. And I know this topic has been said a lot by different people in the diaspora.
Yeah.
And, when you're back home, sometimes you might not realize or understand some of these things, but it's reality. Not that life back home is not difficult. I think of us to have chosen to go out there is because you are looking for something better than you left behind. Yeah, I mean, it's a topic on its own. But that's just the second point.
Yeah.
We wanted to stress out. It's been a big point.
Yeah, the financial part is very, very long. We can spend the whole
we'll probably do a different
video because there's a lot to cover
around that,
when you're living out there in the diaspora and so forth. So the fifth point we wanted to discuss was a lot of people will be like, what about schools?
Yes, good
for
point.
The children, when you move back, what are you gonna do?
So on this point, I think that's the most important one.
Yes.
In our experience.
Okay.
So yes, you can go back home. There's good schools there. Everything's there. Yes, but why? Would you want to really think about this one? For us, I feel like very good schools in Zimbabwe are very expensive. Like good schools, like okay, it depends on what good is in people's opinions. Because remember, we all have different backgrounds. We all started differently. Okay. Some were catapulted, okay? And some started from the grassroots. They had to thrive to be wherever they are, okay? But the bottom line is we always want the kids to do better than we have done. Yeah. So I don't want to be in a situation where, I used to walk to school 12 kilometers with no shoes, and then my kids do the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, if you are able to at least make your kids do better than you, then in my opinion, that's good parenting.
That's good parenting, yes.
Yeah.
So it goes back to schooling. So it all depends with how or where you'd want to put in your children, with what you're looking for, your expectations. And I think in Zimbabwe there's very good schools. We've seen them. It's your choice whether you want private, government. Government schools are still as good as private schools in terms of education in Zimbabwe. But I think in basic, it's a choice that one has to make. I think some people in diaspora, they would look at maybe extramurals to say, what do they have? So again,
I think in Zimbabwe, extramurals are actually there.
They're actually there, yes.
They're actually part because it's actually Ministry of what? Education, sports and culture.
Yes.
So it's all integrated in there.
Yes.
Yeah. However, there is an element of okay, this is not a bad point, don't take it wrong. There's a part where some of the things are kind of not up to date.
Yeah, that might need work on.
Yes. There are practical subjects like your woodworking, metalworking,
fashion and fabrics,
Yeah.
food and nutrition.
In my opinion, those are the most important ones,
Very important.
but they're not taken seriously.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's true. And I mean, in South Africa here, I think those practicals, they're not really there.
They're not there.
Yeah, they're not there in the syllabus. So, which is a plus if you have your kids have schools or learn in Zimbabwe, they'll have that automatically in their
But like we said, it depends on which schools now. That's where the difference comes in.
Yes.
Yes, in government schools, they do try to put these things in there.
Yes.
And then there's also private schools. There's so many categories of private schools.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's those ones where somebody just wakes up one day, they've got some money, they want to open a private school.
Yeah.
Not those kind of private schools.
No, not those ones.
So somebody who's actually put in place a proper model of a private school where you are taught things that are different, like entrepreneurial is an example. Just as an example, the schools our kids are going to now, we're probably going to cut this from there. We're not going to put much, but if I can tell you, like a 12-year-old has got a business plan that they want to execute. I'm going out of script and but if you can have something in place where your kids at a young age are able to think entrepreneurially.
Yes.
Wow, I don't know if that exists.
Yes, no, that's the I hear your point. So be it entrepreneurial, be it whatever your kid is interested in. If you can get a school that can magnify whatever your kid is, it could be entrepreneurship, it could be robotics, engineering, or practicals like making clothes, or if they're good at it. I mean, nowadays the education has changed. It's no longer do engineering or do mathematics so that you can make it in life. Nowadays kids have now the ability to choose what they want, and they do it very well.
Yes, that is true.
Yes. And I mean, another thing that we're almost leaving out was homeschooling. So it's a new thing that came, I think, after COVID. That's when it started, like, really.
No, it's always been
It's
there.
always been there.
It's always
yes,
been there. Yeah.
yes.
I mean, I know a lot of
people
who were homeschooled.
Yes. So that's another option that we're thinking around.